Here is a quick first impression video about um, a package that I received, which is Delta Dura-Strong, a total of 22 kilogram dumbbell set. So I just actually opened it up. It's not quite a unboxing uh, per se, because it's actually I don't have a stand for this hand smartphone, so I can't really hold it with my hand and open it easily with the other hand. The packaging was okay, but it actually had a slight opening here, so they tried to package as much as they could, but there was actually a gap. This is, as I said, is 22 kilogram total, and because of that, because of the weight, the regular cartoon boxes are not actually um, not as durable. And the problem could have been, as some reviewers have said, some parts could be lost, especially these small things. If there is a gap like this, it can actually, on its way here, be dropped out of the package. Luckily, nothing was lost. So let me go through the parts, and they all arrived. I should have these two bars for me to put these pieces together. There needs to be a pair of these star-shaped screws to basically fasten them at those two ends, those star-shaped fasteners, and there needed to be four of these 2.5 kilogram weight pieces, and there are indeed four of them. There seems to be, a little bit of deformation. I haven't investigated each of them one by one, but let me show you the actual size here. So somebody wrote that this is like 44. That's not true. My hand is something like 25 centimeters in span, so that should be pretty much the size of this. Actually, let me measure it with a ruler. And the other ones are 1.5 kilogram, and there needed to be 8 of them, and there is indeed. So this is a 20 centimeter ruler, and entire diameter seems to be like 20 centimeter plus 1-ish, 1.5-ish, so 21, 22 maximum in diameter is for these larger pieces. And these smaller pieces are, as I said, the 1.25 kilograms, as they're written here, and their diameter are 16.5 or 17 centimeters. So even though this is like twice the weight, the diameters are actually not twice, but understandably so, because also the thickness, as you might see here, the thickness is also something that changes. All these things are very important things, in case you're wondering why I'm comparing the sizes. This is about 3 centimeter and 3.5 centimeter in thickness, and this is like 2.5, 2.6, 2.7 centimeter in thickness. In case you are wondering why is it important, it's because I'm going to use these dumbbells to make various moves and exercises, and it's very important because it also gives flexibility or lack of based on the size. So imagine I'm now I don't know if I can do it with my hand, but try to put this on this, around this bar, and 2 of them on this side and 2 of them on the other side. It's actually going to occupy a lot of space, and the reason why it's occupying a lot of space is these are not steel or iron bars or anything like that, but as I understand, these are actually plastic enclosure, and inside of it is actually sand. So yes, there's actually sand inside, even though I don't know if you can hear it. Barely, maybe. There's not much of a sand movement. In some dumbbells, you can actually hear it quite clearly because of if there's any gap, the sand particles are going to move side by side from one side to another whenever you shake or whenever you make a movement. Right now, I don't hear anything, which would be good because otherwise it's annoying during exercises. And the reason why they are not steel or iron is because of the cost. The same thing, the same type of weight, again, 22 kilogram in total, including the bar weight. I think these are like 1 kilogram each or 1.5 each. I don't exactly know. But if we will do the math shortly. If they had been steel bars, then the price was going to quadruple, and this is coming with the weight and such. So the material is cheap, and it's getting shipped to me. The shipment itself has a cost. So because the material is cheap, the total cost is affordable. If I were to exchange this, I'm purchasing this in Turkey, but if I were to exchange this to American dollar, for example, it could have been 10, 12, $14. Yeah, 14, less than 15. 13 to $14. So $14 for a total of 22 kilogram dumbbell set is actually quite affordable if this were to be steel, and if it were either chrome enclosed or in some sort of vinyl, or and I think the other thing is porcelain or something like that. If this was to be enclosed in some sort of like that material, then it could have easily be 4 times or so the price, depending on where you are purchasing these things. So yeah, these things are plastic, pure plastic, and all this the enclosure is also plastic, whereas the bars seems to be, it doesn't seem to be plastic, otherwise it would have been very light. So I think the bar has some sort of coating on it. I think inside there's some sort of iron or steel, because this actually feels quite heavy, and it should be, because it needs to be able to carry, including its weight, up to 11 kilograms. So yeah, coming to the pieces, I have 4 of these 2.5s together that make 10 kilogram, and I have 8 of these 1, 2, 5, and together that makes 10 kilogram. Sorry, that's 8. So 2.5 multiplied by 4 is 10 kilogram, and this 8 of them, 1.25 multiplied by 8 is 10 kilogram again, and together it is 20 kilogram. So yeah, I think if it is total 22, this should be pretty much 1 kilogram. These plastic parts don't have much of a weight, so it should be 1 kilogram or maybe slightly less if they are indeed 22 kilogram sharp, or they might not even take this into account. So this bar is, if it's a 1 kilogram, so the going by symmetry, the lightest dumbbell I can create is having these 1.25 pieces on each side. So that would be 2.5, and with the bar here it will be 3.5. That will be the lightest setup I can think of in terms of having things symmetrical. And the heaviest would be 11 kilogram. That would be Actually, the heaviest would be more than that. Yeah. So I'm thinking of distributing the weight into 2 bars. No, the heaviest could be much more than that. I am not, however, sure if there is any rating or if there's any limit to how much this bar can hold. So this is an initial impression, as I said, and if there is any problem regarding that, I can update it. Again, it's very difficult for me to try to insert these things with one hand. I'm sorry that I don't have a stand so that I can just put this on and show it to you. I have an actual old-fashioned camera with a stand, and I can do it and make another video about how to assemble and whether it is easy or not. Yeah, so the size is definitely huge. If this was a steel or iron, even with some coating, it would have been easily half, not actually half. It would be 1/4 the volume. If you do the math, I don't know the density of, to be honest, of sand versus the density of iron and such, but I assume 3-4-fold difference. So the volume with the same weight or mass, more scientifically speaking, would have been then corresponding to a 4-time or so reduction in volume, because I have actually seen the size of the iron bars. So yeah, the one problem is, let's say if I'm doing this movement, that's fine, but whenever I wanna go close to my body, just like this thing is going to have its volume, and it might touch my body. So therefore I cannot actually have this easily the bar next to my body. So that's one thing to consider. And of course, steel things might be more durable. As you see, there is actually some sort of a cap here, which I assume this is how they filled the sand inside of these units and then capped it. So only time will tell if the cap can pop up and the sand can actually go out. I assume, since there is not much of I don't hear so far any clear sand moving back movement. I haven't checked everything individually, but I assume this might be under some sort of pressure. So let's say if it pops up, I think I won't be able to easily get it back together. So that will be the end of this piece, which means if I were to drop this thing from a certain height, who knows if this is going to actually last or not. So as I said, this is with with the exchange rate about $14, including shipment price, is quite an affordable dumbbell set to do exercises. But of course, there are some drawbacks to consider. So if you are a really professional, lifter, so to speak, or a fitness guy, or girl or woman, then you need to consider something maybe more, much more expensive, but much more durable in the long run. Speaking of Delta, this is not something that came with this, but here is a hand grip that I purchased from the same brand, and I'm quite satisfied. It actually came in pairs, and it cost with shipment $2 or less, and I am quite satisfied with the hand grip. So here's hoping that this brand, again Delta, is going to satisfy me with the dumbbell set. But all of these, both the hand grip and these things, are I guess made in China, even though the brand I guess is Turkish. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna conclude this first impression. As I said, I haven't investigated every part yet, but so far seems to be everything in box. So especially these two. So imagine missing one of those people. Some people said missing either one of these pieces or these fasteners, whatever you call those things. to be not inside the package, because, as I said, this also had a hole or gap actually around the opening. And if they drop, yeah, that would be a big letdown, because now you don't have a complete set, or you don't have the complete set of these fasteners, and any of these things would be actually quite a problem. So far so good, and yes, I will see if I can upload a part 2 for this video if there is any interest. Well, that's it for that, and thank you for watching. Bye.